Yo, what's good, y'all? We back with some more trade deadline talks. And we're gonna be talking about the Portland Trail Blazers because they recently made a move, and it might have to end up making more moves within the next 3 days because they look like they might officially be hitting that rebuild button with the first trade they did, which was trade Norman Powell, who they had just signed an extension to in the offseason, and Robert Covington to the Clippers for basically a bag of chips. It felt like all they did was clear some salary, which is a positive, but I'd say the only valuable assets they got in that deal was the 2025 second round pick, which for whatever that's worth, I guess. And also they did get former University of Tennessee star from this past draft class, Keon Johnson, who's a rookie. So I guess that's a valuable piece. But if you look at this team, there's plenty of moves to be made. There have been trade rumors with their star guard CJ McCollum potentially being moved to either the Knicks or the Pelicans, which, to be honest, another move to get rid of the vets in a contract situation I think would be why CJ McCollum gets traded. I think it's worth doing this move because if you look at the Blazers as of late, they've been struggling, and to be honest, if you look at the team and the way they've been playing, Anthony Simons has been playing at a high level in place of the injured Damian Lillard. So there's something to potentially look forward to with Simons in the future. So why not get rid of McCollum and just see what happens? I think the next pieces to get rid of on this team are Nurkic, and finally get rid of Damian Lillard. I don't care what he says. If you're Portland, you might, or you're going to have to do it eventually. Because Portland is in a similar situation to what Washington is right now. And I just made a video about the Wizards about like a week ago, talking about Bradley Beal and why he needs to get moved and why the Wizards need to make a trade and start rebuilding because their team is just another team that has a shot at the play-in, but it wouldn't benefit if they made the play-in. It's the same situation with Portland. They can make the play-in. They're only a game back or half a game back of New Orleans, but there's no benefit to making the play-in this season if you're the Blazers. Everything's in a downward trajectory. You have to follow that trend and just rebuild. The last time the Blazers actually had a shot was 2019. After that season, when they went into the bubble in 2020 as the 8th seed and lost to the Lakers, after that, that's when I said it was over. I thought it was over right there. You needed to break the team up. They had their shot. They were never going to get back to that point that they were at in 2019. And they gave it another shot in 2021 last season, and they lost to Denver in the first round. So when you look at the whole situation, if you look at the roster, I think giving Damian Lillard the money he wants to stay in Portland can potentially handicap the franchise in the long term because, yeah, he's still an elite player, but you can get a lot for him right now. You can get a lot for him. More than the Wizards would get for Bradley Beal. The Blazers are 11th in the West, so you have to ask yourself if you're the Trailblazers GM, why would you want to make the play-in this season when all the signs have been to tear the team down and basically start over? If you trade Damian Lillard, if you trade CJ McCollum, if you trade Nurkic, if you trade a few other veteran players like they did already with Norman Powell and Robert Covington, those are moves right there you have to make to shift the direction of the franchise. They had their chance. 2019 was the best chance. They ran it back again. Nothing happened. They ran it back again. Nothing happened. It's time to hit that rebuild button. You have to. Because if they make the play-in as a 10 seed, all it would just result in is a late lottery pick and a play-in round exit because I highly doubt they'd make the playoffs with the way they've been playing this season. Especially with the way the Western Conference gets. You wouldn't want to run into, even though the Lakers have been struggling, you don't want to run into the Lakers in the play-in game if you're Portland. That's a team you can lose to. You play New Orleans with Zion if he comes back at one point. You're going to lose. You have a higher chance of losing than winning. So why would you want to make the play-in tournament? It's stupid. And this just goes to talk about a prime opportunity to start over because they've made mistakes in the past already in the little rebuild that they should have done earlier. And that is trading Gary Trent Jr. to Toronto for Norman Powell last season. That was dumb. Gary Trent Jr. right now is 23 years old, and you traded him for Eric Bledsoe, basically, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a second round pick in 2025. Because Norman Powell left, or not left, but he got traded. So you basically traded a guy that's having a career season and is super young. He's averaging 18 points per game, and he's also playing high-level defense. You got rid of that guy for basically nothing, and he could have been a key part of your backcourt of the future. Because imagine if you're a Blazers fan and you're watching this video, you got rid of the Dame CJ backcourt. Let's just say that happens, right? And instead of getting young pieces, not instead, but you get young pieces to pair the young backcourt with Simons and Trent. You pair, front court players with that backcourt. That's a good little future team. You would have had Anthony Simons, who's been playing at a high level, Gary Trent, who's having a career year, and then you could have got some pieces from Dame and CJ, moved them on, and got something for them, and it would have been fine. But right now, you got no real, certified franchise player on the team. And I'm not saying Gary Trent would have been a franchise guy, but you have nothing really going on. There's nothing really going on in Portland right now besides Anthony Simons, for the future at least. And they could have been a good backcourt in the league, but now here they are trying to make moves because it took them, it felt like 25 years to finally realize that this team was never going to make another better run than they did in that 2019 Western Conference Finals appearance. It wasn't going to get better than that. But it doesn't really matter now, because now they have the chance to commit on a rebuild, start over, and let's just see how smart the Blazers front office is, or will be, in the next coming days. Because as of now, if I had to grade that Norman Powell trade, I'm giving that like a C- D+. All you did was get rid of contracts, but you didn't really get anything in return for those guys. Those guys are valuable pieces to a contending team, and you got basically nothing for them. I mean, unless Keon Johnson becomes something, or you use that 2025 second round pick in a trade one day, I don't know. But right now I'd have to give it a C- D+, because the trade wasn't really anything that made me say, oh, that was a really smart move by Portland. It was just a move that showed that the direction that they're going in. But, they have to do it because the Dame and CJ era is done. The Blazers aren't that same team. They had their chances, but it's time to split them up. I've said this a million times already, but it has to be done now. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Link will be down in the description below. This has been the Checkup, where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.